royalties. I am so glad to be able to have this video with you today. Finally. Well, my name's Maris Free, and if you can remember, it was on Happy New Year, and though it was supposed to be on diversity, culture, and religion, like I said in the other video before the last one. But it happened that we got into New Year, so it was January, and I had to at least wish you all Happy New Year. And that while we are starting this new year, we always say we're turning on a new page, but it's just a matter of continuing a book, right? So it's not only about the page, but the whole book. If we have to reach the end of the book, it's all about peace, stills the storm, reaching peace that has no storm. And if we have to accomplish the best of us, is to aim higher than our expectations, so we can be able to have the courage to go even better to the point where it's worth it. So, um, concerning diversity, culture, and religion, I did I did research and on YouTube and Googled materials that we are all familiar with, so that when I'm saying when I'm bringing out some ideas, we all relate. I don't want to like bring mine from nowhere, but whatever I'm trying to say from me must at least have some basic information that we all relate with. That's why we have school and we have materials that have been that is common with us, that we all relate with, like defining culture. And it's nothing new. We all, at least maybe some people know better definitions than I do, just to be able, just to enable us to get from the perspective from what I understand of what culture is. And if you relate, it may not be all of what you know, or maybe not even all what I know, but the little that we can at least like familiarize us. And this is what I'm trying us. That if it's not familiar to you, you may question me and ask me, well, why do you think so instead of this way? And I'll be so glad we're able to, something new on the table and talk about it. The way our world is going, and we don't need but a whole group. Well, we can say hey. We don't need but a whole world to say hey before we, have an eyebrow raised. So if we can start from somewhere, at least it can be a baby step. I do not have to surrender because I know this baby step really far. Journey always starts with one step, and sometimes the step even just of the mind thinking that I have to go. You know what I mean? I have to go to this place and I have to reach, I have to go to this place and I have to reach my goal. And but what we want to ensure is that the goal we are seeking is peace that has no storm, such that even goals that have storm, we begin to ask each other what's going on, not to condemn, not to punish. We judge to 85, to talk, because humanity, we know humanity is defined by its caring. We are the authority of our world. Even with with the powers, when it comes to the physical being, we are the authority, we are the higher beings. What we are capable of doing, and I was saying in the older video, of the heights of which we are able to enable, even, buildings and computer and things that we're able to do. No other, image of the physical can be able to enable this, of the simple eyes to see, but humans. So of our intelligence, let's be able to figure out how we can be able to enable this with peace. Because if like I said, if bad was before good, no good will exist because every good you're trying to make will be taken off. So being able to even be able to put something down, and have a car running means that we have peace. There's no way we can say humanity is bad, but that the bad that we may think is bad is the complication, is the contamination, is the disability, of us. Like, what is making me sad, it's not a human being. The sadness is not a human being on its own. It's me expressing, it's an expression that we can correct. We don't want to call it a human being because it has no mind on its own. But I've been able to enable this crying. I can be able to, control it back. So it's self-will that even a virus is a being. Begin to see that in some images that we don't even see, with the simple eyes, eye being, and their mind is what we want to know. That we all started with peace, that had no storm, to be an existence. And that why is it that we're trying to hurt each other? Or why is it that you're trying to hurt me and I am trying to hurt you? To see that even it comes to a place where peace can be a storm, where light is a beautiful, to its end. But being in the dark for so long, when this light is shown to you, it's like you're gonna lose your sight. You can't even see. It starts hurting your eyes. But to see that the dark that you're in may be comfortable, but the more you're in there, you're gonna start stumbling because there'll be no light in there. So we'll say, oh, that's why we're looking for a balance. But what is a balance? Because in between, we're always movable. It's not like we are stable. So we must either be in one or the other at the same. There's to see that in light is dark. There's darkness in light, but you don't see it because it's a piece of light. You know what I mean? Like we have a mind. The mind isn't us. It's a piece of us. It's us. And the mind is us. The body will say, oh, the mind is a piece of me, but which the mind owns the body, controls the body. So the mind behind it, and that you see that, okay, if darkness is part of of light, I came to learn that again after a long time of learning light to the spectrum when I was younger. It became like, a new knowledge to me and exciting to know that, hey, I didn't even take this serious, but now it's really serious to see that darkness can come out of light. That when the three colors, blue, red, and yellow, come out of light through the spectrum, the three primary colors, they intersect and become dark, be it dark brown or dark. It is amazing how dark can come out of light, meaning that it's only a piece of light that you can correct back. That when it becomes too much, you can take it back to its origin and it's light, and you have no problem with it. You know what I mean? So we peace till the storm. And that the storm may still be existing, but it's alive, but it's best in us, meaning that nothing dies. Everything is beautiful, except we turn it back to its right. There is this part that is not supposed to, it's not supposed to be out, and that is not supposed to be overcoming us, which is what makes us of self-will, of authority, that gives us a dignity. The royalty of us comes from that we're able to make sure that, this other side of us does not come, to overcome the rule we are supposed to be of soundness. You may say, but bad should not exist. But we begin to say that the things that we call bad, it's not it's not the darkness, but the stumbling that it enables, right? Which if we keep, you may say, well, the darkness gives birth to the stumbling, so that you can, you have to have your self-will. You have to use your self-will. That even when you're running low, you have to be able to overcome that. And that's what makes you a God and the royalty of yourself. And that the creator of us all is not even only the God that we know of the small g, but of greater G, of the mind, of that's peace that has no storm. And that's where we all have to belong. God does not have storm. That I know some of us have come to a point where we say, no, God is of two. It's of good and bad. This is why we are being punished because why does dark and light exist and all that? And to see that, hey, it's a matter of being one. God is one and not two. And when we begin to see two, then this God is divided. It means it's not God. But the God we're looking for is God that has one. And that's peace that has no storm. That is my father. It's only my father when he's so good. That means that I have to be good so my father stays good. And when I fall apart, my father is so depressed and running all around until when I am settled. Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? And then when he finds me, he finds peace. Like, who is this one? Is this God? God is peace that has no storm. God is peace that has no storm. Because if this God is the God, then that is not God. Because good and bad, they say good and bad come from the same place. But if we look at it, we see that if bad ever had to exist before good, then good will never exist. It's obvious that good existed before bad. And so much that when the bad existed, could not wipe out the good. You know what I mean? That if bad had to exist before good, then there will be no way that good will ever exist. Because if a paper can come out of fire, it's not possible. Never. Okay? But that paper being there and fire on it, you can shut off the fire and the paper's still there. You know what I mean? Like the fire cannot overcome the fire is so big. The fire is so large that the fire can only end somewhere. I probably understand this because this is where I come to see that there is no way that bad and good can come from um, origin. You know what I mean? But that good existed, then bad on good. And the bad now that we're talking about is the complication of the good that we call of so much complication now that when we say bad, it's like saying like rejection. It's like saying something terrible, of which in the beginning could just have been I'm sad and why? Something that you could deal with. You know what I mean? And not already boom and like to punch me and you let me have time to say why are you sad? I pray we understand what I'm saying. And going back to the old videos that I had, I'm trying to make us understand why diversity, culture, and religion really matters because this is what made us. And we just came and learned that, hey, okay, my culture is this. I am black. I am that. Go this way. This is where you are. Oh, I am elementary. This is where I go to. This is where the adult. This is where the grown-ups. Oh, you just come and just start learning things. When you arrive a baby, you once you start reasoning, they start saying, "Oh no, this is the girls' bathroom. You gotta go over here. Oh, this is the place." Oh, you're like, okay, okay, I'm learning. But at the end, it looks like learning, but to me, it's kind of like a reminder because comes to a point where this one that is directing you gets let me say much more, I don't want to say older because we don't really what can I say, we've been using that word older. I'm trying to look for better words. You become a senior. That sounds much better. Because when we talk of old, when we get to see some old, it becomes a problem. It's like, it's useless. No, I'm trying to make sure humans stay the royalty that they are, the higher beings. Even when you can't speak, doesn't mean that you are not worthy. You are still you. You cannot lose your dignity. Even when you're king in the dirt, I tell you, that you can still be picked up. You know what I mean? All you just need is cleaning up and put back your crown and you'll be still you. That's what I'm trying to make us see the personality of us. That even when someone is grumpy, okay, something can get this one back because you know who they are. The identity of us is peace that has no storm. And that's what we're looking for. How long we have fallen, we cannot even trace it back. We need to start tracing it back because we can see, we can feel it. Even if you say you can see it, you can feel it. You know what is peace. Even that when your peace is when you're, making someone feeling ridiculous, you begin to know something is not adding up. Is it the light? Is it you coming out from dark, and thinking, light is a problem and trying to go back into the dark, comfortable with the dark instead? Or you need to start figuring out like why. So even if you cannot figure it out, someone else should be able to figure it out for you because we are an ocean. We are a drop of water in an ocean. We all make the ocean. So we have to look after each other. You may say, I am myself. There is no way you can be yourself because there's no perfect being. Because there's no perfect being, we have to team up. We have to hold each other's hand. We may not relate with everything, but we want to be able to relate with that. We want to be able to use that to be able to make us relate. And what we relate with could be what is on the other side that is like dark or light. But we're looking for the best that we can relate with that is helpful. That the other one that is complicated we begin to fix. We relate with everything. You know, you'll be surprised how some people relate with some things that you'll be like, how do you guys relate like that? It's not right. But you begin to see that, hey, it's a matter of just correcting some things, and to see that we all are finally even have something that we all relate with. The umbrella of us. And that is the unity, the peace that has no storm, is what I have seen that we all are always aiming at from ancestries to now, that we've never been able to reach the goal. We're only dividing and dividing and dividing till today that So blessed. God to me is peace that has no storm. So blessed God enabled us to have America. Peace that has no storm enabled us. You know, some of us seeking for this peace that has no storm, having able to work together to a certain point that we are that are able to direct us to be of a force that is able to enable some work to the point of making an America, United States of America, like a miniature of the world. That if you want to talk about United States of America, it's like you're talking about the Pacific, you're talking about the Native Americans, you're talking about Africa, you're talking about Asia, you're talking about the Latin America. It's like you're talking about the whole world. If you want to talk about United States of America, you know. So like they say, Cameroon is a miniature of Africa. You know, whatever you want to see of landscape and climate, everything about Africa is in Cameroon. You see everything there. You know, that's the interesting thing about Cameroon, that is called miniature of Africa. So what if you want to see the unity, the us, what do we relate with? In the United States, you can see it. Like if you live in Cameroon and you don't know what India is like, you don't know what Asia is like, you don't know what Europe is like, you want to know all at once without traveling too many times or just once. You want to travel only one time, you just come to the United States of America, you will know everything there. You'll find everything, and and it's not like everything, just everything. It's like really the real, you know not partially but real. Like you can really touch the soil of Cameroon. In which year you can, it's so amazing how we get to, but so far, I'm seeing that other countries are trying to grasp what the States of America is doing and trying to apply. Before, it was hard for other countries to take other countries because they were scared. It's like because of United States of America, some are trying to embrace that culture of, oh, we can make it together, of mixed cultures. It's not like they didn't want, it's just that they were scared. Anxiety. Sometimes we need that light that will peace till the storm, that is in us. So far, talking about culture, we begin to see that culture, you know, it's like, it's like it's a diversity, of our world. And it comes from the diversity of our country, like the universal us, the diversity of the universal us. You have culture, and of culture, it's the umbrella of a race, ethnicity, gender, religion, and language, and all that. Those things that make us different from each other. And you say, why do we even want to know the differences about each other? Because if you don't know where there's a storm, how will you make peace? you know like, it's not that we want storm, but if you have a storm, how do you enable peace? You need to know where there's a storm so you enable peace. Because you have peace doesn't mean that you just stay contented. How you maintain your peace is to be making sure there's no diversity. And how do you enable that? Is by looking at the diversities that you have, the differences that you have. And when you look at those differences, you're able to make a peace that keep you all together. That's what is worth. That's to a point where if someone has to wake up and say, what, I don't have any religion, at least they have a culture to hold on to where we all relate. You don't fall apart because you cannot be an individual in the world. Like in Cameroon they say lost country, which means one that has nowhere. You're lost. Like, where do you belong? Nowhere. Like, you don't belong to this country. Like, where are you? Because you don't relate with nothing here. Like, what are you? Like, if you come from America, you're so used to America, you're going back there. It's like you don't even like, you become like one that has nowhere to go. And then when you leave from Cameroon and come back to America, it's like, okay, you've been to Cameroon, and it's all some differences that we make. So it's just funny, like how things are. Like, if something must always make us look different. You go and live with an auntie for so long, and you come back to be with your siblings. It's like your siblings don't relate that much anymore because you have something that you talk about that they don't get it, you know. And then they're like, okay, you come from Is that what you learned over there? Oh, let me know it. So it's like there's this difference about you that always exists. That we must try to find this unity that unifies you with the others. So what am I talking about? It's just a matter of the fact that just little things that we miss to look at them. These little things that we miss to see the importance of them. We give them no value. Is what is making us falling apart. Like these little things, dividing and falling up and making our own is the reason why we are falling and more and almost losing our earth. And we all gracefully get out of it. We all part from the world. So why don't we just gracefully get out rather than getting out like a whole mess? We can't fall apart at the same time with the world, with the earth. We are too fragile. We have to try to we're trying to get to this place of peace till the storm. That even if we are getting out, that we don't live here, it's not home. And how do we get out? How do we get out? By, if not of peace, trying to figure out how we can peace till a storm, how we can unify and stop dividing and being like, you know, many people but never knowing each other. It's a matter of getting back to our basics, which is peace till the storm. That, okay, of religion. We know that, okay, we have defined culture. Culture is the differences that makes us, the diversity, that the culture that we are is the differences that make us of like America is a multicultural. It's a multicultural country that of different cultures from everywhere that comes together, and of that culture of that country are many subcultures in there that make that country, and then one from that country that is related to all those cultures move to America and meet others from other countries. So it's like it's like like eh, the multicultural of America is really so pronounced than every other countries. And this is why I'm kind of like trying to base my my information that I'm getting from America, because we all can relate with it. And seeing that um culture, we cannot talk about culture without talking about our religion, and we can't talk about culture without talking about our religion, beliefs and practice that have made us, and to be able to have a culture that we all relate with. And having the culture gives us a bigger volume than being just a self and being like a lost. And then when you speak, no one can hear you. It's like you're lost and you want to be able to be found. And to be found means that you have to be able to relate with others. And how you relate with them now is the unity that you need to seek. And that those that you can relate with to a certain point makes a group. And the group now, becomes now, a culture. And the culture now of many cultures now, if you're seeking to speak with to another country, you now look for that which will umbrella you all, which would be your you know the country's culture, the culture of the country. And then the culture of the country now, like American culture, it's a multicultural of many other cultures. So then now if you want to speak like a world, you want to make a universal, the universe of us. That's how we get to be able to have a bigger volume when we how can we relate something that can work with us all, that not only some people have and some don't have, of some missing it and looking like apart from us, separate from us, that when we can interact, if we begin to fight, it's like a war among us. So we're trying to find these things that will get us to be peaceful and a unified world of humanity. Like, how do we spell humanity if we're not talking about the universal us and not just a particular culture, a country? You know what I mean? So Now, our humanity, which is the universe of ours, takes us back to the culture, and then from the culture, we start looking at our beliefs, our customs. It takes us now to the spiritual side of us. That even one that says that I am not religious, they know that okay, we have a spiritual side. And some will say, I don't know about spiritual side. And you begin to see that okay, spirituality, some people call it energy. Some people don't want to talk about it depending on how, they will approach with it. And then they start finding some other names like energy. Like, oh, I have low energy, I have. It depends how what you receive and how you call it. Sometimes changing of a name of some important things can help us relate with them better because of the first name that you knew. When you hear it, it makes it frightens you. So to get to relate with that again is to have another name. So we've had many names of one thing, and then we get to see that hey, we need to and then some having the other name. It's like why this name, and I do not understand that because some people can't get it. So at the end, all what we have to try to understand is if everyone could understand that we're trying to find peace that has no storm, then we can relate. That even if you don't relate with church, when you hear church, you feel like I just don't want to even hear that word church. But how it's approached to you, how it's approached again, how it is brought to you again can help you, in another term, can help you understand who you are and see that, hey, this was not really only about church, it was about peace, still the storm. So I'm okay with peace, still the storm. And then you begin to see that, okay, church, okay, this is not only, it was only some in the church that matter. Or Islam, oh, okay, Islam was scary. Okay, now I understand Islam is peace that has no storm we're looking for. So Islam is not that bad because these people that I had about Islam were more, complicated. You know what I mean? So bad is not bad, but just the complication. So even to the point where you say, okay, oh, my ancestors, I'm black. I can't stand the way the blacks treated me, even though I'm black. I just want to go to someone else and be, to see that, hey, if our aim, humanity, is seeking for peace that has no storm. So it doesn't mean that all blacks are bad. It's just, you start seeing, when you have the unifying us, then you can be able to see that, hey, the diverse side of me that was tough for me to handle, the unifying side of me has can enable me to be able to heal that side. And that is what is going to be able to bring us to understand the reason why we have diversity. And because we begin to wonder why are we even being divided, why are we dividing all the time? The division, it brings out people's problems, and we're able to see where a problem is. That if I'm a woman, you're a man, okay, it may not look the problem, but it is a problem because we need to see how we live together, knowing that okay, there's a woman, women go over here, men go over here. So how do we unify is by knowing where we go, and we know that okay, there's somewhere where we unify when we put on our clothing unify us. How about that? So understanding this will help us see why diversity is important, but diversity does not mean keep on dividing. We need to know diversity so that we can find the unity, what will unify us, and be able to give us a volume to speak and be able to be heard. Okay, so when we talk about diversity, we're looking at unity that is with us, like what keeps us together, what unifies us of our divisions that we are. I pray I just really, I say I pray we understand. It means I'm saying I plead we understand. Some words, yeah, pray is like, oh, no, 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 it's religion. But we know pray means plead. You plead. You plead when you're talking with someone. And right now, praying, I'm praying to you. I'm pleading with you. You pray to peace that has no storm. I pray to peace that has no storm to enable me to reach, the highest of height of peace that has no storm. You know what I mean? Because you're seeking for it. It's self-will, that I'm not denying any religion. I'm not denying no one, knowing that there is no wrong, but there is right. I'm not saying there's no wrong, there's no right. No, there is no wrong, there is right. It means what? It means that there's only peace. The storm is only a piece of the peace that has to be corrected. That has to be, enabled to get back to what it's supposed to be. The you that you are, just like a king. You are a king. If you are in mud, doesn't mean that you're not royalty anymore. It doesn't mean you say, I'm not royalty, I don't want to be anymore. No, you are royalty. What you just need is to get up and take a shower and clean up. You're all set. You know what I mean? You need to have your solution, the unity of you. If you're divided from you because you're in a mud, your unity is taking a shower and dressing up looking good, and that is you. You know, the solution that we need, us, the humanity that we're seeking, peace that has no storm, is what we're looking for. To see now that when we get into understanding among culture and 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 religion being part of culture, a part of culture, I want to address religion like like the basic of getting to have a culture. And even if you say I'm not religious, okay, the racist. Some say some even will deny your race, but even if you deny religion and turn around and look and see the race that you are, you cannot deny it. You know, you begin to see that hey, some things you cannot deny them, but only try to work them out right. You cannot deny being king, but correcting your kingship. You know what I mean? If you grew up knowing being king is being in mud, and you came to be this wise today to see that hey, king is supposed to be on a throne, and not only a throne but a golden throne. It's self-will. It's enabling. It's the intelligence. Like see how intelligent we are today. The towers that we build, amazing towers. The cars that we drive, well, it's amazing the things we do today. Like you tell you, you gotta walk from here all the way to you be like where me? Oh, you're waiting for your letter. Your letter had to come like 2 months. And someone that's gonna take a horse and ride and when we try to escape some rains and but today, oh, okay, I just got my email. Oh, I just got it. So it's only becoming better, but better only with building. What about the mind that keeps everything, the peace that keeps everything right? What about the mind, like the spiritual side of us? That's what is spiritual. It's like unseen. Spiritual is power unseen. The power of us inside that is beautiful and that helps us build right. It's not perfect. Everything is not perfect, but we're always trying to make it better outside. So also the inside. If you're trying to find the spiritual side of you and it's only just disrupting you and how much you've known about it is so bad, it's just like a king in the mud. And all what you know right now is trying to find the better side of how to make it get right and better of the royalty throne that you want to sit on. It's self-will. You try to enable it and sometimes may be tough, but does not stop you from aiming. Because your aiming is what makes you what you cannot give up on yourself. And that's where your dignity comes from. To the point where if we can be able to make all this, means that we can make peace. It means that we can make peace. But how we make the peace, if it's making peace is by we have had peace has come in some interesting, I shouldn't say interesting, in some complicated ways that, to shut somebody up is to give them a slap. I just said shut up and you didn't listen. Bam, slap and one shut up. It worked for you. And it's like, we don't want it that way, but if that's what it has to be every day, then, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't want to have five of those people. You want to have one, and so you can take care of them. You know what I mean? And to see that of a world, if we have 20, we want to make sure at least we can take care of them because there's no way we can be enabling some hurt on another and then hurting ourselves too. Because at the end, the other is only just a mirror, and whatever you do really hurts with you. Sometimes you say, "Oh no, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me," but I tell you, the time will come when it's gonna get on you because there is spirituality, there is the other side of us. Because even though the door is shut, does not mean that there's no outside. Even though because you're inside, does not mean there's no outside. Like my mother asked me today, is it snowing? I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me go. Will I say no, I don't want to know? It's snowing, it's snowing. If it's not snowing, it's not snowing. So because you're inside doesn't mean that there's no outside. Even if you don't believe there's no outside, if someone tells there's an outside, there's an outside. Then how do you deal with it? If someone tells there's a lion, there's a lion. But how do you deal with it? Do you keep safe? Do you take your emergency, like, practice your emergency and keep it right and, safe so that you don't get into trouble? You know what I mean? Like, what is your emergency plan? About our world is falling apart. What is your emergency plan? Like, we are humanity. What are we doing? We need to have a table talk. Oh, this one doesn't want to talk with me. So how do I even get to have a table talk? That's why we need to sit back, drops of water that we are. We need to sit back and Google in our own selves. You are a ripple. They say, like the Christians will say, you know, do not take the log for do not take the peck from my eye when you have a log in your own eye. Doesn't mean that you should wait until when you've taken all the log out of your eye before you go try to take it in the other's eye. Because by the time you're gonna finish your log in your eye, the other's peck has become a log. You know what I mean? And they'll be the ones trying to take off your own peck when they are the ones that have a log. So there's some, we need to really, be thinking with intelligence. Let's use our capability of today, think right, knowing that we are thinking of higher beings. We are of greater. Our ancestors have enabled us of greater, that we can be able to enable a body of knowledge that can really help us, become a better us. That we can have a paradise on earth before we even leave. Because we leave anyway. How are we going to have this paradise on earth? How are we going to have this peace that has no storm? You see, it's not possible to have that. I tell you the truth, the highest we can reach in the physical, the better in the spirit realm. You know what I mean? The better of us in the spirit realm, that our mind. You may say we don't understand what the other side is, but why don't you enable the best of you here? At least I knew what I mean, paradise was before I got here. You may say that, but well, I don't know if it's just a picture in your mind that was placed there, because spirituality is better than the flesh. And so those in the spirit realm, I don't know what they do. A baby may come knowing that they know a lot about, their past, but which you don't even know any, you know, until when you get into the spirit realm, able to really figure it out. Some will say, okay, I've been to the spirit realm, I've been to figure it out. You're still in the flesh. How am I sure that the spirit realm you're going to is not halfway? Because those that are above us up there, they can play your mind really good. So to avoid all those playing of your mind, why don't you just live your life here right? That trying to figure out, like Christ would say, let the dead bury the dead. What he's trying to say, the point what he's just trying to say is the one that lacks knowledge, if they don't want to learn, just keep on, don't adorn with it, because you perish with lack of knowledge. And the perish with lack of knowledge is what? How to live your present. You have to live your present effectively. If you're so worried about it out there, you don't even know what you're meeting out here. You may not even be what is even out there. People will tell you their dreams of where they've gone to, what heaven is like, all different pictures. And you're like, okay, which one is really heaven right now? I don't even know where my own heaven will be. And if you think, oh no, it's because you are from Islam, Islam have their own. You'll be surprised how many Islam will tell you of the paradise they go to. Wow. So at the end you'll be like, that play my mind. But you blame them. The point is you're not focused. I didn't trying to tell you that you're not focusing on yourself, on your growth. Because you're trying to go somewhere when you're not even ready yet. That when you get there, how are you gonna manage your being there when others are being so right? If you go left, they're going left, go right, they're going right. But you in the middle, you don't even know how to go your left and right, because that's what you should be practicing your physical. Then you're being a storm. Why don't you take your time being that drop that you are and try to learn that even when the ocean is becoming so much that you can't learn because it's useless. You're yourself. And if you think, oh, I'm gonna learn alone, I don't care about the others, that's a mistake, because you practice with others. Not only of self, that you're practicing of self, it's practice with others. So all you can do is keep lullabying others while you're practicing. That you get to a place where it's going to be so much work. You cannot learn only yourself without edifying each other. You cannot see your brother running to go hurt himself. Even when you're speaking and saying, don't run, and like, shut up. Listen, even if he didn't hear you and he falls, the other behind will know that, hey, it's good to listen. You know what I mean? At least save one. Try to save one. That's what I'm trying to say. That when I say culture, we begin to look at the little groups in the culture. We see religion, race, or that religion, like the basics of us. You cannot talk about culture without talking about religion, without talking about, you know, practice, because religion is all about practice. Practice the good that we practice is religion. That I don't know what you may understand religion is. So that if you see the Islam religion, something that I relate about with Hinduism, I came to understand that Hinduism was the first religion that ever existed. Be it true or not, at least we have a clue that the scholars have been able to enable for us. I really appreciate them and I thank so much all those who've been trying to research and do stuff, but I feel we could do better, you know, and that we cannot ridicule the way that they did it, but edify them. They might have gone with some harshness and all that, but they able to bring out the little that they could. And now we can take it and try to edify them to respect them and respect those and try to, all we try to do is peace till the storm. That if I was able to go to school and learn that, maybe went by the way of bribing, to get myself out of school, to see that okay, what I have to do now is try to understand the materials, because I'm not helping myself over here. Does not mean that I'm condemned. You're not condemned. We all are worth it, and does not mean that you've lost your position and be able to get back, to glorify yourself and glorify others, because you're glorifying the humanity that we are, you know, because even if you don't want to look at it, it's because you're scared of people trying to, condemn you. Some will look at you bad. But when we see that the drop of water is very important in the ocean, even because the ocean is so loud, but you need to see that drop that you are in that ocean that makes that ocean beautiful. It starts with every ripple to make that wave. And if you can start with your own ripple to calm down, and others are watching you and learning to calm down, seeing how the others are, bit by bit, we get to understand. Does not mean that I know everything, but I learn from each other every day. You may know how to cook a pot of food. I know only how to fetch the wood. I tell you, you can't cook that pot of food without me fetching the wood. You know what I mean? So some little things that we are able to enable to see that, hey, okay, peace, still the storm. What is that to us? That everything is important. How do we get them to be more important, like they are supposed to be? Knowing that if we're hurting someone, it's the matter of them trying to get better for us to be able to have peace. Because without the other, we cannot have peace. And even when we think we're having peace without the one, no way. We always remember that one that is not having peace, and it's a problem. No matter how great we are, that one not having peace is always a problem because it's going to be always the closest to the heart of someone, even if not of you. And it's going to really matter that we all need to be the one. And this one growing angry on can want to come in and since you guys don't care about me, we all should lose. We have to try to enable each other to have peace through the storm so that no one is left out. Please, of the best we can, starting with a step is worth it. I plead that, this is February. I know it's Black History Month. That would be to see that what is black. Black is, is beautiful. It's in the right place. You know what I mean? Because black is in the light. Like I learned from the prism that, that the temporary colors, when they intersect, they make black. And black only part of the like the three colors back into like blue, red, and yellow back in is the primary colors. When they go back into light, if I'm saying the colors not right, I please help correct me, but we all know I'm trying to, we all are trying to get somewhere and we all work together. And I had learned this when I was a child, when I was younger. It didn't really mean that much to me, but now I'm like, it's physics. I'm not really sure if I'm going to go that far with physics, but I tell you, it's amazing how everything, even history, you know, adds up in my life. It's part of me. I love physics, but when they tell you you cannot do something, it's like, okay, I'm not what. So you cannot, you have to, it's just a matter of coming to understand who you are. Some things that we're supposed to know when we are babies before we become an adult. We're knowing that when we are adult, and so some people, get to know those things when they're younger. But the truth that at the end of the road, all that matters is all kings know who they are, all royalties know who they are. That even when you grow up finding yourself in mud, and you want to catch back your crown and your throne, you don't go with storm because storm will only make another storm. You try to go with peace. You don't want low self-esteem. You want to rise right, and rising right is with loyalty, is humbleness. Become royalty. Royalty, loyalty is who you're gonna be. Humble pride is who you're gonna be. You know what I mean? You have pride. Pride is beautiful, but it should be humble pride, not arrogant pride. Because arrogant pride is another form of low self-esteem. So sometimes we mistaken arrogant pride for humble pride because of how much we've lost. It's not because you're bad, but because I am royalty. I've got to be royalty. And then arrogant pride sets in and you're thinking it's humble pride, but it's just because of how much you've lost and you're feeling it's low self-esteem, but you don't even understand that it's low self-esteem. So we need to try to get to understand some little things that were missing of us, like the ABC, make words. Yeah, how can you make words without your ABC? We need to go to the basics of us, to see that religion is more of like a spirituality. Spirituality, we need to see that even atheists will say, I don't believe in a God. We need to see that who is God? God is peace that has no storm. Even if you don't want to give him but an image, we get it. We live this physical. Those that are in the grave, how are we sure we're going to see them tomorrow and know what they really look like? Only say, oh, I know my grandmother. I know my grandmother. When she comes, I'm going to know exactly who she is. Maybe it's only by her voice that you know. Maybe it's just how are we even going to know if this one is going to come, is going to be among of, even if they come with the right image. They really your grandmother, your good grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, our world. I'm just praying that we begin to see that it's not about only the physical, it's about the mind. It's about the mind. That when you meet peace, you will know what peace, and peace is the mother, the father. Like Christ will say, "My mother is the one that knows the word of God." I coming to understand Christianity has really enabled me to even go back to start tracing back my ancestors that I did not know growing up. Uh, African tradition that I did not know. Sometimes we say we stole our African tradition, but I tell you, we did not even. I'm not say we did not. I understanding what I know now. It's like we do not even know how to follow our ancestors. I wouldn't know how to be children, like walking with them was like working together, not only depending on them, but they depend on us. Our quietness helps them, just like how when you're with your mother, you help them help you. That if you're crying every second, even when you're feed you, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Like, take the horse to the water, and if it doesn't drink, what will you do? It's only when they drink that makes you what? You know what I mean? That maybe our gods are frustrated and you're like, oh, the gods are against us. How are the gods against you? Are you following the gods right? Some mistakes that we have made. When I look back at my African ancestry, I'm like, wow, we have great ancestors. There might be some that are really hurt, is it disorientated of their true self, and because of the like, why are these not listening to us? And then start becoming trying to speak, and then becomes it's more of like power, and we are too fragile. When you're so strong to carry a little baby, you see some fathers trying to carry their first baby for the first time. It's like, I can't even, where do I hold the baby? Like, I can't. I'll wait for the baby to be 2 months because they have big hands. It's like, oh my god, I can't touch this baby. I'm so scared. Like, let me just only rub my cheek on the baby. Like, I'll wait until the baby's 2 months before I can touch the baby. The baby's too small and fragile. You know what I mean? And you understand. And sometimes how big the father is when he's like coming close to the baby, it's like the baby starts crying. He's like, okay, okay, I'll stop time with time, me better. You know what I mean? So it's amazing how power is amazing if we know how to work the mind right. That if we can't function with the mind right, it's gonna be so difficult for us to be able to embrace power. That's some being able to go to the spirit before when they're supposed to go begin to become frightened and they don't want to go there anymore. And even if like, why would you want to go there when you have not even learned who you're supposed to be? So I'm just praying that we begin to reflect on things that going there is not bad, but why don't we learn how to walk before we are able to go outside? You know what I mean? You don't want to crawl your nails out there. Before you get back home, you have wounds on your knees. It's not because outside is bad. Some mistakes that we have made that we can really fix. you know out there is like us, and it's because of us. Some parents, they are peaceful parents, but some people were so, calm, nice, but after having children, oh my God, you're like, what happened to you? You're not the same one that I knew before. You used to be so shy and away. Oh, keep that away. These children in this house, I gotta, you know. So it's funny how life changes with, with your environment and your surrounding, and you begin to understand that, hey, that's the same thing that will be happening out there. So we need to really try to be the good students in the classroom. When the teacher is coming, shh, 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 oh, the teacher to lose their mind and not be able to teach. And you want the teaching of that day, you know. But the teachers we want is peace that has no storm. Such that when we begin to see a storm, we try to find out why there was a storm, and so that we can correct it. And that's the diversity, and we're trying to correct, by the culture. Is the angry culture, whichever culture that everyone is bringing out their colors. What culture are you? I am rainbow culture. Okay, what's rainbow culture? We are divided, we are together. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Don't you see the rainbow? They are divided, but they are together. Okay, but with peace. That's what we're trying to make sure we get one, even being apart. And then to see that, okay, the flesh dies, the rainbow dies without even having the colors getting together. So what are we, can we really talk, can we have a table talk? What are we trying to do? What are we doing here? To the mind, it's peace that has no storm we're looking for. So the higher we aim, we get better at being who we are, a paradise. That even when the others are still 99, a chaos, only you trying to be peace, you grasp something. I used to get more pain when that happens. When I try to be peace, it's like everyone is just punching at me. You know what I mean? But the light and the dark, to see that which outcome do you want? Which outcome do you want? Is it the dark or the light? That when you're coming out of dark, it's like light is a problem. Or do you want to stay in the dark and be stormed forever? Like, what is good? What is good? Are you going to be bad because everyone is bad? What is your origin? It's where you're going to go back to. If you say, oh no, this is the spirit are still messing up with us, so there's no end of this. But where you come from, do you remember? Peace, that where you the last where you don't remember is your peace. And when you're sleeping at night, when you know what peace is like, we cannot deny peace because of all the stuff we have made of so long of complication that we don't even know what peace is anymore is like. Like now that I'm grown up, I can't remember what I was like when I was a baby. You know what I mean? Like that quietness, that beauty is what we're looking for. And it can only start by step, of every of us, there's a step that even a baby that have a mind when they grow, that we each other can be a step that I am I am like 5 steps off the baby. You know what I mean? And the baby looks up to me. So the steps, we have so many different kind of steps that our ancestors are like the higher step of us in the spirit realm. That if we don't relate with this with the ancestors, if we don't relate with the ancestors, how do we relate with the spirit realm? That the ancestors that are in between the spirit realm and us, and that makes us know that hey, that's family. Without the ancestors, we'll not know what family is like. The first one on earth, if they didn't know what family was like, you know, ancestral spirit realm was like to be family with, may have every reason to be apart from them, but of wherever origin we come from, we have come to a place where we know that hey, we have ancestors and they grow, and some come in. You don't know if they're coming in from somewhere else and then going out to somewhere else. Whichever these other two ways are, we have to respect them. Because and the one that gave birth to us and the one that is receiving us, the both of them, the one, or I can say birth. Sometimes I feel like we saying birth in a world where there's trouble, it's not birth, but it's like a fall. Whichever one we fell out from, maybe by, I don't know if it's whatever happened, maybe we were running away or what, I don't know. I found ourselves like a baby in here. I don't know what was going on. Sometimes we say we know, but I don't know what pictures they put in us. So we just want to live with peace that stills the storm. Even when you know where you come from is good, the good and make sure that you edify and peace that seals the storm. And if you know that where you come from is bad, you want to, if you call it bad, you know it's a complication of good because we know that there is no way bad can ever be without good. Good must have existed before bad. Pray we understand what I mean when I start talking about culture and religion in this traveling and motivational and inspirational um, videos that we're trying to enable together, of the best that we can, while we're walking this road. Thank God for the computers. God is peace that has no storm. Because if it was not of that peace that has no storm, we'll not be able to have all this right now, even with the chaos that we have, even with all the conflicts that we have before even enabling one thing is because of the origin that is peace that has no storm. That we all are peace that has no storm, royalty. We all come from that peace that has no storm. That of every portion that we are, with the little pain that we have, that even the pinky has a pain, the thumb has a pain, it's pain, we feel it, and we try to cure and fix it. You know what I mean? And every pain matters. That even a big one or small one, they all matter. As long there's need of repair, we all matter. We begin to understand that we all at the end of the road are a one, a universal, which to me, universalism has no discrimination. It relates, it embraces everyone. It embraces cultures. It embraces religion. It's like an umbrella over everyone. Then I learned that the first religion was Hinduism. The second one, from Hinduism, there was came out Buddhism, Taoism, and every other, and then after, Hinduism, you have Judaism, you have Christianity coming out of Judaism, and then you have but I know the four main religions are Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. Those four I know are like more popular, but let's keep Judaism because Judaism, gave, that brought in Christianity. So I must respect that because we have to respect our ancestors. Before I was, my ancestors were. Like you can say thank you, Maris, without thanking my ancestors, no matter how they were. You know what I mean? So that's why when you want to say thank you to this one, don't say, those bad ones back there. Look at the beauty that they made. Oh no, I can't take that glory because they raised me, I can't take it off on myself. I will try to help you to, be able to say thank you to them by us trying to relate with the unifying of us and understanding where our problem is that we all are not perfect. But of some that have done worse and have the biggest wound, we begin to see them like wounds and that we repair and we try to heal. But the only way to heal is by us not trying to condemn each other and not throwing words at each other like we are the disease and not the people sick. You don't call someone sickness of which they are a sick one. You don't call someone COVID when it's Mr. Should I say Mr. C that has COVID. That's what you say. You don't say go to Mr. COVID. Go to Mr. C that has COVID. Go to Mr. Z, Mr. M, Mr. That has COVID. You have to make sure that that person is respected before you point out their problem. That's what we really need to help each other. I know we all have come from so much, but there is beauty that we cannot miss from seeing from each other because if we miss it, you'll be surprised what we are losing trying to gain everything. That one piece that we leave behind and call it back is the one that will turn back and be like, hey, what about your own peace? I'm not giving it because I am bad. Oh, we start pleading, please, we are sorry, please, we are sorry. Don't think, please, as we are sorry just once is enough. You have to keep on doing that buying until they give it because you have no choice. That is our peace that we're looking for, our unity. Okay, royalties. I know we had a good Black History Month because we all have a pain and we're trying to heal back to the light. That's where Black belongs, in the light. And I pray for heal of peace. peace that has no storm. Our finish line we see. Okay, from Black Lives Matters to the light in the dark, light in the dark, looking for the shaded light in the light, and then the light, the peace that has no storm we seek. Royalties. Hope next video will have a better video because I just got a new device to be able to make videos with that will have no so much breakage, and more videos I'll be able to make in a month so that we don't have too long videos. Okay, I'm working on those, so I do understand that we need at least shorter videos so we can be able to understand, bit by bit. Okay, stay blessed, royalties. Thank you. Thank you so much, royalties.